GearNetwork.com.
The following is a presentation of the Gear Radio Network.
Welcome, everyone. This is the Fat Man. Sleazy is a little incapacitated, so he will not be on this week's show. But I do have, as always, a fat-ass Canadian, Buckmaster Gotch.
Hi, y'all.
What's going on?
Oh, you know, just being one of the fucking members of this organization.
Oh, shit. We're going to get a bit so Sleazy has to re-edit this, aren't we?
Yeah.
I will be kind to Sleazy. So, Sleazy did send us a link early to record. You and I showed up. We waited for fucking Mark, who all of a sudden 10 minutes before we were supposed to go, oh, I have company. I won't be able to record till later. After 2 hours ago, I sent him a message, hey, can anyone record early? And he sees it, and it's like, yeah, I'm not going to be, I'm fucking Mark. Anyway.
The Fat Horsemen are back.
Yes, the Fat Horsemen are back. So, and the Fat Horsemen are going to cover Ring of Honor? I
An
guess.
excellent Ring of Honor pay-per-view with fans.
Yeah, it actually did have fans. So this happened, obviously, Sunday. Best in the world. Did you watch the pre-show, or the hour one is what they called it?
I caught the Danhausen tag match. Not really spectacular, but I think I'm under the very minor group of people that absolutely love Danhausen.
I don't mind Danhausen. I like him, actually. I did not watch the match because I didn't watch the pre-show, but yeah. So let's go on to ROH proper. It starts off with PJ Black and Brian Johnson versus the Briscoes. Match went 8 minutes and 10 seconds. And as always, when we cover ROH, no star ratings are out for literally anyone, because I think we're really the only wrestling journalists, quote unquote, who actually cover Ring of Honor. You're the tag team wrestling enthusiast, and you love Jay Briscoe.
Why you got to make me happy and then so angry within 30 seconds?
Because that's how I roll.
I've said it a million times. The Briscoes as a tag team, fantastic. For this to open their first pay-per-view in front of fans, good. I really like that they gave Brian Johnson the mic, because he really did a good start off and holy shit fans, and then they cheered him for a second, and then Brian Johnson went straight into the heel shit, which he's really good at, tearing down the fans, tearing down the Briscoes and all that. Everything about this was a perfect opener for Ring of Honor with back to fans, and why not put the two guys that are in Ring of Honor longer than anybody else over in their first pay-per-view match with fans forever.
Absolutely 100% agree. That's what I literally wrote in my notes. The right decision was for Black to take the fall after Johnson cut the promo, because it would look absolutely ridiculous if he cut that promo and then took the fall. But good choice. 3 stars for the opener. Yeah, you literally said everything I said. So,
did you catch their fight on the farm?
I did not see that.
The only thing that threw me off about it, like the sound from the bouncing on the ring, like where they were to and how they were doing it, like the echo from the ring was loud in some spots. But like it was the Briscoes having a chicken fight on a chicken farm. It was fucking great.
So I'm going to hate it, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. So the cool-down match is EC3 versus Flip Gordon. 11 minutes, 15 seconds. I thought this was dumb.
Is it because they should lift this around that EC3 should have won the match against Jay Briscoe and then lost this one to Flip Gordon?
If Flip's the number one contender, why lose? Why tap out? Like, I don't understand if it's Flip versus, say, Brian Johnson, to where you give Brian Johnson the rub before Flip Gordon goes into the main event. But arguably, EC3 is a bigger name than Flip Gordon. Why not just have EC3 take the loss here? It's not going to hurt him. It's going to evaluate Flip Gordon. It's going to give him momentum into the title match. It makes no sense to me.
Dickhead, for the same reason you're saying EC3 should have lost here, it's the same reason you should have said EC3 should have won the last time. It's the exact same argument.
It's stupid. Plus, the match was fucking terrible. 1.5 stars.
Yeah, they went longer. They didn't need to go as long as they did.
1.5 stars. It was not great. But EC3's match with Jay Briscoe didn't have like a world title implication. Yeah, thank you for it. This one kind of did. You have your number one contender losing, tapping out, making him look weak as fuck, going into his match. Yes, I know they have a month to build him up and they could do it, but I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
They're taking a shot with EC3 and trying to push it a certain way. I mean, I'm big on EC3 anyways, but if Flip Gordon is your home talent or your homegrown talent, we'll call it in this situation, you're right. Flip Gordon should have went over this match.
Even if he wasn't, Flip Gordon should have went over. Like I said, if it was Brian Johnson, I'd give it a little bit more like, okay, that kind of makes sense to give Brian Johnson the rub while beating the number one contender. But like I said, EC3 is arguably a bigger name than Flip Gordon. Why is EC3 winning this match? And then having the Flip Gordon refusing to do the code of honor at the end and then spinning in his face and then just walking away. Guess that gave him his, quote, heat back, but I don't know.
I feel like it left the two of them open that if Flip Gordon is the winner of his championship match, then EC3 is automatically your first challenger.
Yeah, or EC3 somehow helps Flip Gordon win the match, which would make it even worse, but I don't know with Ring of Honor anymore. Okay. Speaking of I don't know, ROH World Six-Man Championship, Shane Taylor Promotions defends against Dalton Castle, Dax Draper, and Eli Ism. I don't know what the fuck they were trying to accomplish here.
Shane Taylor over? I mean,
it went 10 minutes and 50 seconds, but you have them barely beating a team that was fighting within themselves. It's so WWE booking. They barely won the match. What was that supposed to accomplish? They had a competitive match against three guys who don't like each other, and Dalton Castle's being an asshole, which was more entertaining than the match. Per se. Dalton Castle was fucking phenomenal in this match. But, because, of course, bias, I have to be. But
I love Dalton Castle anyway.
1.5 stars again? Like, I don't understand. Yes, it was a given win of Shane Taylor Promotions, but why have a competitive match with a team that didn't get along? That just made them look stupid.
Only 10 minutes.
Doesn't matter if it only went 5 minutes. It made them look dumb. They should have won in like fucking 3 if that was going to happen. Might as well just destroy them. If you're going to...
Two young fellas you don't really know, and then the former world champion. If you really wanted to try to justify it, I mean, cool. But I don't know. I don't see anybody taking them belts off that Shane Taylor and the boys for a while. But those belts
I don't
were
think so either. Yeah, there's really not many six-man teams out there. Well, even though there is, because you have a shit ton of factions. But the factions are going after the two-man belts? Cool. Whatever.
Not the single belt.
Okay. Last man standing match, Josh Woods versus Silas Young, 13 minutes, 45 seconds. What'd you think of this?
Wrong kid died.
Really?
I love Silas Young. I love his gimmick. I love everything he does. And as much as I understand why Josh Woods went over because he needed that rub anyways, I really think Silas Young could be. And to me, Silas Young is somebody you could put in the main event and have be as your world champion and be believable. And he'll get good feuds out of people.
Oh, I absolutely agree with that. But the Raw Kid did not die. I mean, you could theoretically have Silas Young lose this match and then go into the main event. Again, this loss didn't hurt Silas Young. It was for Josh Woods to win, and the right person went over, but it was so boring. It was dull. I mean, it's probably the worst last man standing match I've seen. I mean, I like the ending spot, the German threw off the apron through the tables. I mean, gross as fuck. I haven't really seen it before, so I'm like, okay, at least the ending spot was great, but just leading to that match that ending was just standard fare. It just didn't seem great.
Generic.
Yeah. Brody King versus Jay Lethal, 10 minutes, 45 seconds. And we talked a little bit about this before air. Like, Brody Lee was, like, just a big guy with PCO. You know, he was, like, monster-esh, but he wasn't, like, the over, like, hyped-up monster that was no-selling anything. Then all of a sudden he becomes a leader of a faction, and now he's no-selling finishers 10 seconds into matches. Like, cool? Like, awesome? Where was that Brody Lee a year ago? Little too late, in my opinion. Yes, I'm very pessimistic about this show, as you can tell.
We're pessimistic about most wrestling things, and that's fine. But I don't know.
I get what they were trying to do with him, but I think it's too little too late.
Until later on in the card, I could have agreed with you. But then the tag title match happened. And kind of made Violence Unlimited.
No, I'm not arguing Brody King.
The table now that you're going to think about, because spoiler alert, they won belt on the show. Plus, their leader Brody King is, regardless whether they book him or not, still a fucking giant.
Yes, I'm not arguing Brody King winning here. I think that was the right call. I'm just arguing the way they're booking him is too little too late. They made PCO the monster of that tag team when it should have been Brody King. That's all I'm arguing. Is all like, this Brody King should have been a year ago. Or 2 years ago, but not now. Like, it's just, you build him up as like generic monster number 7. Now all of a sudden respect him to believe he's unstoppable out of nowhere. Like,
number 2.
Like that's my problem with it. Like, okay, cool, but too little too late. I hate to say this, but it was also another match, 2 stars. Like, I love Jay Lethal. I think Sleazy fucking hates him. I think Jay Lethal's grossly underrated. But this match just didn't do it for me. The right person went over and everything, but I was just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Just didn't do it for me. What do you think of the match?
Compared to the rest of the matches on the card, this one wasn't as good, but that was just personal preference. And like I said, but even when I watched it, I was like, that's where he went over. And then I watched the tag match later on, I was like, now that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Try not to judge stuff early, but in not judging stuff early, like, you know what I mean, to make the foolish judgment in the beginning, fine enough. But once you see how the rest of the show goes, it's like, okay, I jumped the gun on being bitter and jaded towards something I didn't let evolve.
Yeah, again, I didn't have a problem with him winning. I thought it was the right call. I just was like, ROH Pure Championship, Jonathan Gresham defends against fucking Mike Bennett. 19 minutes, 21 seconds. To be honest, compared to the rest of the show, this was like, out of the 9 matches, this was probably like the 5th best, is right in the middle. And it was only an okay match for a house show.
Longest match on the card, too.
Longest match on the card, which I knew it was going to be because it's the fucking Pure Championship. They got to give it at least 20 minutes almost every time. It was probably the worst pure rules match that Gresham has had. It was still okay. It was watchable, but it wasn't anything special.
Mike Bennett shouldn't be in that division.
He should not be in that division because he's not a pure rules wrestler.
No, he's not. Mike Bennett is a WWE guy and how he wrestles. Mike Bennett's straight wrestling. He probably can wrestle, but he's not the caliber of what they want in that pure division.
No. And you know me when Mike Bennett, not a big fan of his singles wrestling. So I thought this would have been the worst match on the card. It wasn't, but it was damn near close. But it was okay. I mean, Mike Bennett, like the whole match. Oh, Mike Bennett deserves to be in the Pures division after that match. No, it actually made it look like he doesn't belong in that division.
I'll give the people the credit enough that said that to be like, he shows promise for that division. And you take time from Mike Bennett, but to me, that's the character too. Like that pure division, not just a wrestler. If you're going to do that stuff, like you got to change your wrestling style.
Right. And it's hard to change a wrestling style when you've been in WWE for how many years? And to be fair, he was wrestling that style before he went to WWE.
Yeah.
So, okay. ROH World Television Championship, as I'm fucking knocking pills down everywhere. Tony Devlin versus Dragon Lee. Match of the night. Match of the night. In a fucking walk.
So, why did he lose that belt? Is my question.
Dragon Lee? To be honest, I think Dragon Lee's contract was coming up, and they didn't want him leaving as the champion, so they took it off him. And then he probably signed a new contract, so they put it back on him. That's my thinking behind it.
Because he had this,
go ahead.
even when you look up the title history, he had it till March. And I mean, when I mean had it till March, he had it for 469 days.
Yep.
Dropped it to Hot Sauce, who won 2 belts in one night. But that was the show that he didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So maybe
that was the anniversary show, right?
Yeah. So like maybe that's why, but you think you'd kind of shag around with it. But the second they could have put that belt back in on a one-on-one situation, they did it right away.
Yeah. But no, this match was fucking great. 3 3/4. Physical.
When it was missing a bunch of shit.
Physical as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was high-flying in some points, but these two beat the fuck out of each other. And it was only 10 minutes. 10 minutes to 10 seconds. Like, they beat the fuck out of each other. It seemed like it went longer than 10 minutes. But like a good longer.
Different, though. A match like Mike Bennett and Gresham had.
Which was 19 minutes. Yeah, and this one was 10 minutes, and it felt like it went just as long. But it was great watching it, though. Yeah, it was a really, really fun match to watch. Finally, match of the night. Finally, a good fucking match. Like, the Briscoes match was good, but he went through garbage to get to this fucking match. Took 6 matches 5 matches in between to get to a good fucking match. All right, we talked about it earlier. Fight Without Honor for the ROH Tag Team titles, the Foundation, which was Rhett Titus and Jonathan Grisham, because it was supposed to be Tracy Williams, but he forgot his gear or something. That was the storyline. Was that what that was?
No. Because there was a couple of people. One didn't have, I think it was he didn't have the gear.
And then Lethal was supposed to be in it, and Lethal got his ass beat by fucking Brody King. So
how do we have Jonathan Grisham lose his belt without losing his belt? It's trauma against homicide.
Right.
Self-markout moment. I loves me a drop of homicide, so no matter where he fucking pops up to, it's great. I love it.
Homicide almost ruined a Excite show. So, ironically, the Excite show I was on and Sleazy wasn't, even though Sleazy works for Excite, they had lighting rings up. And Homicide, and they're not very stable, decided to try to climb one of them, and then the whole lighting structure just began to fucking shake and almost knock down the whole lighting structure. And then he's like, yeah, this ain't going to work. And then he fucking just climbs down. But yeah, not to mind Homicide, dude, that fucking finish, I thought Grisham seriously got hurt. He landed right on his fucking shoulder. I thought he got hurt.
Good.
But glad he's not hurt. Violence Unlimited winning was, I think, the right call. I think Rhett Titus should have took the fall, not Grisham. But it also does make sense because it is a fight without honor. Grisham's a pure champion, so...
And he's already have to wrestle the match this night.
And he already wrestled the match, so it makes sense. So it doesn't actually really matter who took the fall. I just would have put it to Titus. It was a good match, 3 stars. I mean, nothing really else to say about it, really. But
no, like it's pushing their stable versus stable versus stable storyline really well.
Yep. Okay, main event, ROH World Championship. Roosh, you're not correcting me on that one, versus Bandito. 16 minutes.
About fucking time.
There you go. I know you're a huge Roosh fan.
Fuck Rush. Fucking. At no point did that man to me, was that man a believable champion for the company of Ring of Honor. At all. Don't care. Now, I don't bitch about much, and I'm not angry about much with wrestling. I watch a lot of crap and don't get angry. Fuck Rush. Should have never had the belt the first time. Should have never put it back on him the second time.
Do you think Bandito's the right person?
Like what you said before we got on, Bandito's going to be a transitional champion.
Okay, so let's talk about the match first, and we'll get to that. I thought it was a good match. It was sloppy at times. Again, nothing really more to say about it, that it was a good match. 3 stars again. Roosh would 100% had his shoulder up way before the 3 count, but that's the finish they wanted to go with, so they stuck with it. So, I mean, it is what it is. Now, what do you think of the match? Just like, meh?
I mean, there's nothing different that I've seen from either one of them before. Cool that you had your moment in the main event. Shitty that everything that Bandito got by winning this big moment, this big match, just got flushed down the fucking window.
Because, Roosh had to get his heat back. From a fluke win, by the way, a roll-up win. So, okay. Cool. So, going back to it, we talked about Flip Gordon. I think Flip Gordon was winning the title at Glory by Dishonor. Or Glory by Honor, or whatever it's called. I really do.
Finally.
I really do think Flip Gordon's going to win the world title.
Finally. It only took fucking forever. But, like, they could have did that with him a couple of years ago and it would have been deadly.
Do you agree with me? You think he's going to win?
Flip Gordon. I think
Yeah.
he's the
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. No, he's person right now, the easiest person to put that belt on with any kind of hubbub we're going.
Yeah, so it's going to take place August 20th and August 21st, which is SummerSlam weekend, I do believe.
21st of SummerSlam, yeah.
So the only match on night 1 is Bandito versus Flip Gordon for the world title. Night 2, they have Dragon Lee and Roosh versus Bandito and Ray Hornet. So that tells me that Bandito probably will retain. And then they have a steel cage match between Matt Taven and Vincent.
With the Ring of Honor World, with a Ring of Honor title shot on the line.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Why does something tell me that Vincent's winning that match?
I was just going to say, I fully expect Vincent to win that match.
Something's telling me Vincent's winning that match. I don't know why. I just have a gut feeling on it. But, yeah, overall thoughts on Best of the World?
This show was a lot better than anything I've seen on the Ring of Honor for a while. Solely on, I think, fans. The sound of the fans, them being there. Personally, for me.
Yeah, I think fans coming back actually helps. Obviously, it does. But I still think it was a meh show. I mean, the last 3 matches were good, but nothing spectacular. The last 3 matches and the first match were good, but in between was hot garbage. So it was a meh show. It was an okay show for a house show. If you don't want to be a mark, listen to this. Okay, let's get to right. Okay, we're blowing through this, which is fine. Get some news and rumors. I will talk about it because I do want to have a little discussion on it. Dolph Ziggler says that, somebody asked Dolph Ziggler that WWE shop doesn't really have any merchandise for him. And Ziggler goes, he hasn't seen, the fan didn't see anybody wearing Dolph Ziggler merchandise ever. And Dolph Ziggler replied and said, well, WWE doesn't really have any. And looking up on WWEshop.com, he only has one piece of merch, which is essentially a youth t-shirt. And Sleazy and I said this last show, or the show before, is that baby faces sell merchandise, heels sell tickets. Heels really have never sold merchandise. Because why would anybody buy a bad guy shirt? Yes, some bad guys like Roman Reigns is going to sell a shit ton of merchandise. But I think he's the exception, not the rule.
I guess throughout the years you can kind of go through different examples of heels that would have said, like if the Horsemen had a lot of fucking merch for the days, they would have sold. NWO sold a bunch of merch. The X were technically.
Yep.
But it's very rare. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah, and Ziggler isn't, to be fair, isn't at that level to where he's going to sell a ton of merchandise anyway. So, is this a big deal?
No.
No, I don't think so either. Like, it's much to do about nothing, I think, if something ever comes to it. Apparently, the WWE draft is going to be pushed back a month because I guess their new season of Raw is like October 4th. So they're going to either have the draft the 4th or the 8th or the 2nd and the 4th or something like that.
So either they're going to start the draft on Raw or going to end the draft on Raw. Realistically, whichever night is going to have the bigger, oh my God, that person got drafted, needs to be the night that's on Raw.
Right. Because remember, Monday Night Football is coming back. Will already be back in full swing by then too. So they're going to try to get some ratings in to do it too. So I think it's a good. I think it's a good idea. Matt Hardy had his first child, which I didn't know his wife Ruby was pregnant. It's cool.
Man, he needs to just get off her and worry about his fucking Hardy family office.
Maybe that's where he's doing her, right on the desk. Speaking of sexual assaults, I guess the lawsuit against Matt Riddle has been dropped.
You would lead you to believe either he didn't do it or he paid her off.
So, looking at these statements, it said there was no financials, and the article said the same thing, but what was her, Candy Cartwright, I think her name was, or Candy Cartwright? Mm-hmm. Her lawyer goes, we're going to put this, his quote was, we're going to all put this in the past. So the wording of that means I don't think she got a settlement. I think there wasn't enough evidence.
No, couldn't do anything, so she got...
Because the lawyer would have been like, oh, well, they would say, yeah, this is what, this is done, you know what I mean? And Otani grounds out, of course, because, the big star, whatever, fuck him. But,
if she thought she had a case, that would not be done.
Right. So, yeah. So Sleazy and I, the past couple of shows, have discussed, or maybe it was last show, that NXT has 30-day no-compete clause, while the main roster is 90. Sleazy says he's full. That's bullshit. I agree, but maybe not, because Aleister Black showed up to AEW 30 days after his contract, after he was released. Apparently, this is because when he got moved to the main roster, he was still under an NXT contract.
They fucked up is what they did.
Yes, so he was able to go. So that's why I do believe that NXT does have 30-day non-competes. Apparently, WWE is having big plans for Roderick Strong. Cool.
Not just Roderick Strong. What I've seen is their big plans for the entire cruiserweight division.
Yes, that they're going to push, but with Roderick Strong being the focus of that. So
him and Kushida.
Yep. So Sleazy and I last week discussed that Clash of Champions are going to be in Columbus. Oh shit! I almost hit surgeon in the head. Is that Sorry, I watched the All-Star game. That Clash of Champions is going to be Columbus, Ohio, but now it's going to be rebranded to Extreme Rules. And not Clash of Champions.
I wonder what match they want to have there that they're changing.
Right, probably the Extreme Rules match would be my guess.
Fair.
Again, last week, this is disputing last week's. We said Darby Allin is going to make a cameo and be one of the skits in Jackass 4, which is perfect branding, by the way. But Darby Allin has come out and said that he is not going to be in Jackass 4. He doesn't know where that rumor got started. Probably because it's too on-point branding.
No, man. Don't let him do it.
Right. I'm not saying he probably doesn't want to do it. I'm just thinking, I don't think Tony Khan's all like, hey, you can't do it. I think it's more like, hey, I was never a part of this to begin with. Yeah, we're blowing through the show. Only a couple more to go here in News and Rumors. Sonya Deville is set to return to the ring soon.
There was a rumor going that she's going to be Money in the Bank.
I did read that rumor also, but I'm not sure how true that's going to be. But we'll have to find out. Two bummer ones to end this on. Bayley tears her ACL training at the PC. She's going to be out 6 to 9 months.
That's a hard loss for them.
It is. The women's division has, quietly been not very good lately. Like, they're holding their own. But it just seems like there's not enough women as it is. Obviously, Becky Lynch isn't there. Sasha isn't there. Sasha. But yeah, so having Bayley, it's going to be tough.
It's going to be a hard person to have it. Now, it all depends on when Sausage are coming. Sausage. When Sasha's coming back. But
I think she's coming back soon. I think, again, they probably took her off the road for till live fans come back. Probably, like I say this and it sounds super racist, but again, only room for one black female wrestler in the main women's title thing. So I mean, it may sound like racist and sexist and everything else, but I absolutely believe that's WWE's thinking on it. And maybe Sasha's banged up and she needs some time off too. So I mean, we don't know
now before the fans come back.
Yep. So then when the fans come back, they got pop. Last one for news and rumors. Mr. Wonderful. Paul Orndorff has passed away. Again, last show we talked about how he wasn't doing too good, and then he passes away. So that's sad.
He's a real hard one to lose, too. Just because he was so influential in the early years.
Yes. There's some debate between Hogan and Piper on who drew the first WrestleMania 1. Was it Hulk Hogan? Was it Roddy Piper? Or was it people seeing Hulk Hogan beat the shit out of Roddy Piper? But I do think Mr. Wonderful had a little bit of a hand in that also. So we can't count what he didn't, you know what I mean, what he did. So,
wonder why I know Mr. Wonderful didn't have a hand in doing that?
Why?
Because when you talk about it, the question is always, did Hogan draw or did Piper draw? At no point was, did Cowboy Bob Orton draw? Did Jimmy Snuka draw? Did Mr. T draw? The only two names that are ever put up on that is Hogan and Piper. Nobody else in that match drew.
Okay, I still think I'm not saying Orndorff was like that big of a draw for it, but I think he had a little part in doing so.
Yeah, but in the same breath, Mr. T definitely had a little part in doing so too.
Mm-hmm.
But more about it's still the two names that everybody always brings up when they talk about WrestleMania. Was it Hogan or was it Piper? It was both of them.
Yep.
Everybody else was along for the ride, boys, which is great. But without the two of them, that don't matter.
Yep. That's it. I mean, that's these are rumors. That's ROH. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I'm just going to a different dirt sheet now just to see if there's any other things to... and, funny enough, I was on this dirt sheet earlier. Nothing. This article contains a spoiler. Superstars returning for July 23rd SmackDown on Fox.
John Cena.
Do. Funny he's going back to Fox, though.
It makes sense. I think, one, match with Roman Reigns. Two, I think Fox is like, if you're bringing back any stars, we want them on network TV. Or WWE's like that, too. I mean, I know NBC Universal kind of got pissed off at WWE because they're out of those $3 billion, they're giving WWE $2 billion of it. So, well, one of them is to put the network on Peacock. The other one is through Raw and USA. But I also do believe that I think Fox is their main priority because they have a better relationship with NBC Universal throughout the years than they do Fox. So,
there's a miles better relationship with NBC. Update on why WWE has been pulled recent programming.
So I read. Yeah. I read it. I didn't really talk about it. It's essentially because there was a shakeup. New people, a shakeup in their television division, and while yes, it kind of sucks now, but looking at the future, they're very excited for it. And yes, it's short term bad, but long term is going to be good for the company. So I'm like, I'm not even going to bother talking about it. But yes,
more makes you sad because I was really looking forward to the Nexus Untold because the Untold series has been fantastic.
I was looking forward to that too. And I was also actually looking forward to the Lex Luger documentary. Because I went on WWE Network to try to find it. What was that?
They said that one didn't have a strong enough lead.
Yes. They're they're going to wait for like a pay-per-view. Like SummerSlam probably is what they're going to wait for or something like that. But
former WWE superstars could be heading to Ring of Honor. From Fightful Select has revealed that multiple former WWE superstars have been contacted by Ring of Honor as a release, with one to appear very soon and at least one or two surprises coming up. I assume one appearing soon would have been Chelsea Green, since this article was from, it was from July 11th. It was from Sunday.
So that's probably Chelsea Green.
Yeah. Curious to see now when you think about the 90 days and shit like that, who...
Oh, yeah, we didn't even talk about that with the Ring of Honor thing, how Chelsea Green went on Ring of Honor and how terrible that fucking segment went. Oh, God, that was bad. But...
Sure thing.
So you're telling me that ROH contacted release wrestlers. Common sense again. Cool? Like,
yeah, the scary part of it, yes. To me, it makes me more curious, and I wonder who they contact.
I wouldn't be surprised. Were you on the show when we thought Strowman was going to go to Ring of Honor, or Sleazy thought Strowman was going to go to Ring of Honor?
Can you imagine?
I don't think so. I don't think it's Strowman. I think it's going to be like guys like Tony Nese, Buddy Murphy, people like that. Like
those two would fit perfectly in Ring of Honor.
Oh, yeah, 100%. But I don't think it's going to be like a big name. Killian Dane will work fucking well there, too. But, yeah, I don't... Strowman's the biggest name, and I don't think he's going there.
I can't think of... Strowman don't fit anywhere else but WWE. Let's be real. He's going to go to AEW, and they don't treat big guys in AEW with any kind of respect.
No.
It was the Impact, and it's a super fucking whale in a giant little puddle.
Oh, Sleazy said New Japan would be perfect for him, too. Oh, maybe we were talking about this at a baseball game. Never mind. It was never on air. Sleazy thought New Japan would be perfect for fucking Braun Strowman to win G1. Be a surprise entrant in G1 and win. And I said that's not going to happen.
All the same. You're going to imagine something funny for your fucking fantasy thinking about it. Him going to New Japan would be a good one.
I don't think right now, any of those wrestlers are going to New Japan. Only because the pandemic isn't over there. It's not even close to being over there. You're going to have more freedom in the States than you are over there. So I think none of these – it's a terrible time for New Japan right now with these talents getting released when they did. For them, it may be a good thing. For New Japan, it's a bad thing. Because I don't think any one of them is going over there.
Fair enough. Which makes more sense, though, because it is a kind of shitty time for them there now.
Mm-hmm. I'm honest that the Olympics are still going on. They'll start in 10 days from us right now, but no fans, no spectators. They're just going to do it to do it. Just get it over and be like, we've done it. Fuck it. Now move on. Get out of our country.
Yeah, really, that was the summer or Winter Olympics or next year.
Yeah, Beijing. Anything else?
No, sir. Nothing else that I can see that we haven't touched on. See what happens when we get along for half an hour?
Yeah, no, it's a really quick, easy show. Sleazy's not instigating anything. He's not saying anything stupid. Ryan's not being all Canadian. Chip isn't being
always all Canadian.
Chip isn't being a Mark. Nice, easy show.
I was going to say Deets and Travis don't exist.
No, they only show up like once a year, if that. All right, so I guess that's it. Any plugs, Ryan?
Ryan Buck 85. That
Right.
is the Twitter. Outside of that, no.
All right. Gear Network. Check us out. This show drops every Saturday at 8 a.m. on Spotify, iTunes, Spreaker, wherever you get your podcast. Check out @Gear Network on Twitter. They're a great group of guys. Got to say that was spelled Sleazy. For more updates on other podcasts around Gear Network. On Facebook, we're at the rest of the show, Sleazy the Fat Man. On Twitter and Instagram, we're at Sleazy Fat Man. I am at TWS Fat Man on Twitter. Sleazy's not here, but I'll plug him. He is TWS Sleazy. And that's it. So thank you for Ryan for coming on. He gives me the peace sign on a fucking fuck you. And for the Fat Man, this has been the Wrestling Show. See ya.
Don't forget.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Ryan, so much. I have time. Fuck Kenny Omega. Fuck Nick Gage. And fuck Dave Meltzer. Peace.
I'm a truth that you seem to run from. I'm an army of one. I'm a clip in your gun. I'm the pain in the game. The bloodshed in your name. When there's nothing to gain, I'm the world gone sad.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.